Basically, coming to you live this evening, I couldn't help myself. I thought the need to talk more about the first day was warranted. The first day has been one of sheer amazement, in my opinion. The way that not only Konstas played, but the whole range of players that we saw today that showed a bit of mettle. I mean, Kohli certainly hasn't helped his own cause by what looks like it's being sanctioned or fined for his efforts in basically shouldering arms to Constance. We'll have a bit more to talk about that with a loose screen. The reality is that Sam Constance, the young 19-year-old, hi there, is Himanshu, how are you? Oldest subscribers, you're right. You certainly are, Himanshu. Welcome back. We're in a situation here where we're the coming of age of an under 19 player, or I don't know, a 19-year-old sensation who backed himself, who trusted his instincts, clear-minded, had the audacity, you might argue, or the strength of character to say, "Hey, I'm going to take these guys on in their own park, so to speak." Which the MCG has become India's home in a way. They've won there the last three times, I think it is, quite convincingly. They had Ajinkya Rahane as coach, as captain at one stage. They've done very well on this ground, and they've got a certain amount, an air of confidence about the way they're playing as well. The fact is that Sam Constance set the tone, which allowed people such as, of course, Labuschagne, even Khawaja. Khawaja clearly benefited from the ease in which the free-mindedness of Constance. Not unlike, I hate to say, Dave Warner. Looks like Khawaja fed off that and batted very well himself and scored a 50 to boot, as did Constance, scoring a magnificent 60. Let's be honest, 34 odd runs off Bumrah is quite a staggering situation when you think about it. The reality is that Bumrah has not been hit for 34 runs by anyone. I think Ravi Shastri said very clearly, no one in T20 format, ODI format, and certainly not Test cricket has anyone taken to Bumrah so early, especially when Bumrah's bowling, some 10, 11, 12 deliveries to Constance that were perfect and that he couldn't play. But ultimately, he worked out a way to deal with him, and it was something he thought of on the spur of the moment. He didn't premeditate. He realised he had to put the lines and lengths of Bumrah to the test. Did so by doing the reverse ramp, not really reverse sweep, the reverse ramps and the normal ramps shots, which came out of the Dilshan days, and he made it incredibly in his own space. Played two, which he missed, but he persisted, and then he continued to hit two more. One went for 4, one for 6, and then he pulled shot balls beautifully. Hit a magnificent lofted on drive for 6. Hit a beautiful cover drive and enforced back foot drives. Good cut shots. He played, and he had a ball which was on the stumps, and sort of steered it through the gully region there for 4. Quite incredible, quite outstanding. It was. They're saying Steve Smith century tomorrow. Well, Steve Smith undoubtedly can thank Constance for creating that. Khawaja benefited, Labuschagne benefited, Smith benefited, no doubt. All those batters benefited from the Constance effort at the beginning, and it's very clear that Warner's spot and the way he played was something that they all thrived on, and ultimately would score runs from as well. Tony Brown, a good friend of mine, is talking there about, for those of you still thinking it was Constance who initiated the impact, let me put it in cricket terms. Without deviation, with deviations. There's no doubt that Kohli's gone on an angle straight at Konstas and tried to rattle him, and then made out that he was the one that was pushed. It's quite hilarious indeed. I mean, it was a bit of an annoyance actually, because I found that Kohli's, well, he's only sanctioned. I don't think he really cares. He's worth multi-millions. It's not going to affect his bank balance too much, whatever the fine is. But hopefully it'll stop him doing it again. They're saying here an unbelievable debut from Konstas. It really wasn't unbelievable at all. It was quite frankly expected, and there's been talk. It'll stop him doing it again. It's one of those situations that you want to see him do that again. Real pity he didn't score a century. That's probably the one thing that fell away from that whole effort that we saw today. That I think it would have been nice. It would have been nice to actually have him, have him actually score a century. Would have been perfect. Krishna Shukla, is Sam attitude zero performance? Well, it's no one can. Message has been deleted on Christian. Why did you delete it? I don't know why you deleted it. It was quite a reasonable comment. Is Sam? Let me read it. Australia's next Hughes. There's a Phil Hayden, next Hayden and Warner. Undoubtedly. Let me just make a point about the whole phasing in of new young players. We're not very good at it in Australia. We rarely have a person in their teens come in and look. He's the fourth youngest ever, and Cummins was in that lot as well. The reality is that we've put McSweeney through it, and he didn't play that well, and then he's been dropped. He probably should have been blooded at 6. Then there's the one bugbear I've got is Jason Sanger. Very similar to Konstas, scored centuries against touring sides, was in red hot form leading up to a few series, then waned a little bit and then is now having to resurrect his career in South Australia. He, to me, is another person that I would have had in this side already as well. Jason Sanger, that is, and Sam Konstas would have been perfect for this team. There's a Henry Hunt as well. There's also still a number of other players floating around that we have got there in the system, and we need to blood them. Okay. Is it the pitch? Pitch has actually not been truly shown because we've unfortunately seen Sam Konstas pull the line length of the bowlers away from their true length. I'd say it's still moving substantially and it's still affecting the batters. But while a person like Konstas was batting, it was never going to be shown. I'd say with the score line at 6 for 311, I think it is, that's somewhat of a still favouring Australia by a long shot, but you could argue that they could have been well and truly much further ahead, Australia. And Bumrah's 3 wickets late has certainly pegged it back somewhat. We've lost Marsh. Marsh has gone, of course. And it being 6 to 311. Let's look at the breakdown. There's a report here. Konstas debut, Bumrah's repulsed highlights boxiness. Yeah, it's true. Bumrah certainly came back after being given a nice old shellacking from Konstas, 34 off a few overs. The scorecard, let's look at the scorecard. So yeah, Konstas got 60. Usman Khawaja at 57, looked good as well. Labuschagne, fair to middling. I know he got 72, but I don't think he was necessarily flying. Smith is hanging in there. He's 68 not out. Travis Head, well, it wasn't his day. He got a duck. Mitchell Marshall, pretty ordinary as well for 4. Alex Carey is out for 31. And Pat Cummins is in for 8. I think previously Carey was batting with Steve Smith, but it's in fact Pat Cummins. And then they've got Stark, Lyon and Boland left. So really, this part's between Pat Cummins and Steve Smith is probably the last partnership to be recognised there. And looking at the bowling figures, of course, Bumrah's got 3 for 75 after his 34 slacking early on. Mohammad Siraj bowled pretty well, I thought, without getting any wickets. Akash Deep got a wicket. Raja Jadeja got Konstas. Reddy looks quite steady for 10. And Washington Sundar got the wicket of Labuschagne. So, yeah, there's 6 for 311. Far from convincing from Australia, although their upper order all got scores of more than 50 with 60, 57, 72, and now 68 not out. If Smith goes on to make a century, it'll be worthwhile. But if India can take a few wickets early on and we're out for less than 350, it game's on, big time. Australia anything over 400 will be a bonus to them. I think this is a pure batting pitch. Well, no, they're saying it's not. They're saying that there's more cut and bounce. The grass is actually quite well covered on the pitch. It'll still deviate as the match goes on. Maybe not as much to spin, but more to medium, but in reverse. So we'll wait and see whether that comes to fruition. But yeah, it should be a batting wicket now, but considering how well Australia started. But Konstas, what a magnificent 60, really, seriously. The reverse ramps and the normal ramps and an inning so early on was quite incredible. And then, of course, balls over mid-on. Drives, cover drives, and back foot drives, and cut shots were all there, and balls steered through this gully slipstream region with great confidence. It certainly impressed me. The guy's got oodles worth of ability, and probably will be around for quite a while. And he said to Ricky Ponting, it was very interesting. He spoke to Ricky Ponting, and basically was talking in terms of what's next. Meaning he'll be in his test team now, and then what's next is at the IPL. He expects to get a Guernsey there. What's after that? An Ashes tour or thereabouts. I'm expecting to be on that. I'll be in the team by then. He's saying that to Ricky Ponting as if he owns the joint, and you've got to take some credit there. It is arrogance, it is cockiness, but if it works and the bravado works and he scores runs, no one's going to say anything against him after that, are they? Well, he just needs to, I shouldn't say keep his head because it's his own way of handling it. And he scored 60 runs. But, it probably deserved him going on to score a big 100 and really, really, really putting a stamp on it. And a lot of players have done that. Jaswal's probably had a slightly more celebrated career in his performances. Probably not unlike what Konstas will do. We'll just wait and see. Konstas has got one more test after this to prove himself and a second innings here as well. So he's got potentially 3 innings to go wild. Session 3 was India's. Well, yeah, you'd have to say that. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Tomorrow, India 129 all out, Himanshu reckons. Wow. Why are you saying that? I mean, I know that Kohli's done what he's done, but he'll be there or thereabouts. I mean, of course, Rohit Sharma is now deciding to open again and breaking up the Jaswal Rahul opening partnership group. Gill's dropped and they got Rahul's about a 3 with Rohit opener. It's interesting whether they're going to regain that positional way. And Jaswal's been a bit ordinary the last few innings. He's got enormous talent, but he's got to be more consistent. So we'll wait and see how he goes. Yeah, very interesting stage indeed. Which team do you support in the IPL? Okay, probably Kolkata Knight Riders probably is one team that stands out for me. I rather like the whole thing. We'll call KKR. Yeah, I would say. The pitch is a batting-friendly pitch. Well, somewhat so. It's proving to be the longer you bat and bat well. But had we lost wickets early, would have been scheduled for a lot less. So, yeah, luck went our way a fair bit as well. Australia, that is. I don't think it's... excuse me, I don't think it's that batter-friendly. Meaning that, the bowlers have still got a lot there to take. And the weather's going to be appreciably cooler tomorrow and more overcast than it was today. So that'll help the bowlers. Can Smith score a ton tomorrow? Of course he can. He should be, most players would think should be able to, but no one's gone on with it yet, so we'll wait and see. Rohit Sharma has not won a single test in the last 5 tests as captain. Yeah, there's something conjecture there about his captaincy. I must be honest, there is. He just seems a little bit. You hate this. That's a weird thing to say. Just seems soft. Hasn't got the lead by example attitude. The attitude of at the moment he hasn't the attitude of what Bumrah did. Excuse me. Okay, there is this phone. There it is. Okay. Sorry, guys, it's a bit of a messy thing to happen there. There we go. We've recovered. It was my fault. I should have known better. Should have known better. Okay. The pitch already has up and down. Well, a little bit. It perhaps a little bit is, but not totally. I'm actually in Sydney. I'm not in Melbourne, if you're asking. But yeah, it's to be in. I have to take care of a certain set of female cricketers here the next few days, so I've had to stay in Sydney. Please tell us about Kohli's attitude. Okay, we'll talk a bit more about Kohli now. Kohli is a fairly strong-minded character. Arrogant, yes and no. He's quite boisterous. He's quite hot-headed. Wears his heart on his sleeve. He noticed that Konstas was certainly taking it away from India and rattling everybody, including Bumrah and even Rohit Sharma and Siraj. But he thought he'd take it in his own hands and thought he'd give him a bit of an elbow, to ruffle him up to get his mind off the game. It was an attempt to do that. It didn't work. In fact, it backfired big time, and he's going to pay the price for it. Simple as that. He definitely angled towards him, and then made out later that it was him that pushed him. So he was probably hoping that perhaps Konstas would react, but he didn't. So yeah, it's pretty ordinary on Kohli's behalf. Actually, I'm a little bit disappointed with what he's done, and it wasn't called for, and everybody's talking about it. His sanctioning will be obviously financial. Whether it's game time, that's going to be interesting. If it ends up being a suspension of games, well, that would certainly it would certainly change things. So
just the tension. I think for me, just having that freedom and just backing myself and just trying to bring the best version of each ball. So lucky enough to get a few runs today. Just doing my gloves, and I think
I think he was quite happy with his performance, and as Constance, and what Kohli did, he won't be happy with at all. They're showing a photo of Shane Watson and Gautam Gambhir, where in fact Gambhir pushed or elbowed Watson. Look, it's fairly minor in the scheme of things, but Kohli should be sanctioned for it, yes. Should be fined for it, yes. And hopefully we'll move on from there. Sam is way humble, is a very humble guy, he is. But at the same time, what he said to Ricky Ponting showed an element of, well, not arrogance, but cockiness there. He said that, what is he doing next? Ricky's involved with an IPL team. He thought will help him get in to be auctioned off, which he probably will. And then on top of that, he said, what's after that? There's, going to England, the World Test Champions finally, and he said, oh, I'll be in that side. I'll be in there by then, and he's in there by now. Let's hope he gets a bit of consistency in his incredible talent, and then hence takes on a role which will be a very long-term one. It'll be excellent to see that. It would be a wonderful conclusion to the career, sorry, not conclusion, but commencement of the career of Sam Konstas. And eventually McSweeney will get his berth probably at lower middle order, and maybe we can get my person, Jason Sanger, on the side, like the Harry Brooks of England. They've all done very well. Give them a go, guys. Give them a big go. They really deserve to be there. They're worthy of all the accolades. And let's be honest, it's one of those teams you want to be involved with for sure. And nothing better than getting involved in a team that's winning. And Australia has been winning. What's 1-1 now? In the case of India, they've also been winning. Don't worry, we are champions, says someone at the event. Just going to try and pull up the discussion we're having and see what's there. We had 76,000 views over the last 48 hours, which has been pretty impressive. It's I put the thumbnail of Kohli because he is under scrutiny. He should be under scrutiny. He's made a fluff of what he's done. So what have we got here? Why will Pekoski's not playing? We all know about Will Pekoski, another opening talent, prodigious talent, but he got hit in the head 13 times, will have 13 concussions accordingly, and ultimately he's too much of a risk physically and mentally. And why would you want a player in there who's been hit that many times could collapse something like Phil Hughes? I'm very sad to say that India has the time. India can quite easily draw this match if they want to. Bat in second in their first innings long and hard, which they're more than capable of doing. So I would imagine that will be on the cards. Norman, who is better? An all-rounder, maybe Webster. Is Green. Well, Cameron Green will be eventually back when he gets through his injuries. That's what they say. Webster, was that Bo Webster? He'll get his go too. Probably more in the short format, but we'll wait and see where he gets his Guernsey. Australia should back Konstas. Of course they should. That's what they have done. So they put him into the side. They could have done it early in the Test series, but they've done it towards the middle. He's proven himself in spades already, if you ask me. He's done 13 outs in the last half a day. Was that? If he survives a bit more and gets a bit more, scored a century in the first Test, second innings. He's not far from scoring lots of runs. I wouldn't be dropping. I'd love to have Kohli in my team any day. Motivationally for the rest of the players, he's quite magnificent. Very, very strong willed and heavy on the winning scenario. John Nara is telling me photos, which I'll have to look at later. John Nara, are you watching my show? I'm live. Australia should back Konstas. They are. They're doing that as we speak. They're certainly backing him with a great deal of gusto. Review of day one. Let's have a look here. I'm not seeing. Yeah. What did Kohli say? Kohli said we were fourth. Plenty of opportunities, guys. What is it? Ricky Ponting helped him. So what did Ricky Ponting say? Ricky Ponting was criticising for Kohli. Yeah, well, yeah, you have to. He did do the wrong thing. Let's be honest. Christian Shukla, I saw your shoes outside. Turn around and talk to you and tell him that you put it through for the next game. Would be a good idea. John Allen, what all right. Do you play video games? Yeah, I play video games. Well, mainly Monopoly type games. I do that. Nothing too serious. Nothing too illegal. Nothing too, in terms of like money and the like. I don't normally do that. Aussies won the gamble today a great deal. Well, yeah, they did. Certainly did. All right. Exciting times ahead. Second day of the Test match, we'll see. I thought Alex Carey was actually Pat Cummins left with Head, leaving us with a void there with like one or player missing, which is what Konstas has probably done. If Khawaja goes, then it could be a bit of a real loss, but Khawaja might be happy to stay there now while this is all taking place. Yes, it's quite a test match, that's for sure. You'd have to think that at the moment Australia's still on top, but India could easily peg them back even more. And anything under 350 is a bonus, I think, now after the start that they have received, which was a magnificent start. Indeed. If you're here as an observer or to witness, please tick the box on the roof there. It says ticking boxes. You know, people need to make a response there. They're not necessarily wording in their replies. Okay. Yeah, the wife of Andrew Simons will be here, I think, tomorrow. And she's a great bowler. Who's this? Why is Josh Inglis not playing? It's a great question. I mean, you can't say he would have gone ahead of Konstas, but there was Travis Edward meant to be not playing, so that would have been the position he would have taken. He's a great player, Josh Inglis, and plays the short form really well. Yeah. He's had a lot of exposure to the long form, and so that's what the problem is. All right, so Australia going into the second day's play, being 6 for 3 and 11, and I think they've taken the new ball and probably need to change their bowling a little bit to get each player a bit of a fresh start, and hopefully take the last few wickets. In particular, hope they get rid of that fellow from that tree lopping exercise. It's pretty sad. But if not, he'll have to take care and join the program. One word to Australia's on the Virat Kohli. I mentioned already the whole Virat Kohli saga was terrible, and that he should be sanctioned or fined quite heavily. Although that won't really dent him, but it'll cause some grief. Maybe if we could suspend him for a match or two, that would be pretty heavy. Like, for example, the Sydney Test, that would be really heavy. He's David Hook's number 2 point. Well, a little bit. I think there's a bit more class about him, actually. I actually think he's got a lot more going for him this early stage. A lot more shot variety. Very impressive indeed. Any other questions, guys? Kohli would not have last a minute with Anushka, wife, if he did. That's all for sure. Probably not. Aussies can do anything to win the game, even do tampering. So I won't do that, and also they won't. They're not. They need to win. Thug life. So in India, if you get to watch a match, you can't approach and meet players because there is too much security in Australia. Can you meet players as they approach? Yes, you can. You can say a little bit. You can say thank you. You might get an autograph or two. Who's my favourite cricketer of all time? I'm always going to say Donald Bradman, for sure. Probably the likes of Keith Miller, Neil Harvey, and Arthur Morris. And more recently, obviously, Greg and Ian Chappell, Warner. Larry Thompson. Maxie Walker was great person. Do you watch your web series? Yeah, I do. I'm gonna sum 100 top more. Okay. You're going to score 100, right? You mean Rahul? Okay, Rahul might from here, but Australia's still got to bat for a while. They're not finished batting it just yet. I'm going to make this half an hour, guys. So I'm a little bit tired. So to wrap it up, Australia 6 for 3 and 11. The likes of Cummins is there on 8, joining, of course, Steve Smith, who's on 40 odd runs, 68 runs, and yeah, it all tangles. That's Max Walker. What's up? Not much. Just telling the wrap up. So 6 for round 11 into day 2. Hopefully, they can wrap them up for another 350. But if not, close 400 might be the go. Which is going to be a fairly tall order for India to get back in. But they've got the batters that can do it. Most of them see how the more settled, perhaps, side of Rohit Sharma is with Jazwa. They've been together for some time, and well, an inclusion now of Rahul at 3. It could have been Rohit Sharma, but anyway, we'll leave it at that, and that's the way they're going to go. They're very, very close, those two guys are, and that's always commendable. All right, guys. Thanks for your time. Pakistani bowled out twice, so yeah, well, that's not really taking up my time as much as it should. Pakistan, I think, are better than that. I'm a big fan of yours since last BGT. Thank you very much. I love you. Well, that's a bit heavy indeed. Does Konstas have an IPL contract? Not as yet, but I'm pretty sure he will before too long. That'll be a sensation to bring into anyone's team framework, I'd say. All right. Shall I leave or shall I go? Shall I stay or shall I go? I'll go, guys. All the best. View, like, and share the post. See tomorrow's play. India's got Australia 6 for 311 with Steve's been out 68 with, I think, good old Cummins there on 8. So only the bowlers will come. Anything more than the 350, 400 will be certainly will settle the Australians. Bye. All the best. Take care.